This is Innovate Africa, a new series highlighting innovation and creativity across a continent that is on the rise.
Today on Innovate Africa, solar-powered pop-up classrooms taking high-tech teaching to South African townships.
Isn't it amazing?
Who would like to put mine on?
Using low-cost tablets to bring local content to primary schools in Kenya.
A disruptive intervention is what we're doing.
And the Ghanaian entrepreneur getting kids into coding using robots built from scrap.
The eye has a hidden camera that is watching you.
You see me?
One of the UN's 8 Millennium Development Goals is to achieve universal primary education. However, with massive inequalities between rich and poor, it's a tough challenge in Africa. But innovative thinkers are coming up with fresh solutions. Nairobi's iHub is a place designed for Kenyan innovators. A space where smart young thinkers can share their ideas. Marie Githinji and Nivi Mukherjee met here and soon began to explore their shared passion for technology and education. They are the creators of Kenya's most successful e-learning teaching aid. It's called Elimu.
Have you ever lost something? How did it feel? We are going to
Tell me about the project that you've started. It's called Elimu, that much I know. What does Elimu mean?
So Elimu in Swahili means education, and Elimu is our play on that word.
Elimu is an integrated learning system designed specifically for Kenyan students.
Okay, so this is the main dashboard page. Once the students log in, they come here. These are the 6 main subjects in our curriculum.
The app includes condensed content from prescribed textbooks brought to life with the inclusion of animations, video clips, pictures, and music.
Agriculture, trade, manufacturing.
Part of the Elimu package are the specially designed, low-cost and easy-to-use tablets that also offer controlled access to the internet.
What do you want to learn about? Do you want to learn about Kenya?
Social studies.
Social studies. So once we go in, it's just like a textbook. These are all the chapters in the textbook. And as you can see, it really tries to visually highlight a lot of the key things that will come up in exams.
You guys have the help of teachers to figure out what you need to put in there.
Yeah, so I guess what they're called pedagogy experts, they sit on our team and they're teachers by profession. They know the curriculum, they know what's going to come up in exams and what they need to focus on. But then we also have our content focused with leading textbook publishers that have seen kids read their textbooks and go through the exams. And so they also know which areas to focus and highlight.
Financial services. Enable Kenyans to save for the future and
Interactivity in the classroom is a new concept for Kenyan children. Under the colonial and mission-based education system, children were not encouraged to speak up or question a teacher.
What are you guys up to? What are you watching?
Promoting interactivity is an important part of the Elimu concept. Now, tablets are available in libraries like this one. Children are encouraged to explore the technology and the interactivity on their own.
We've done a few really interesting studies where we've shown students animations explaining a complex concept. Other students have just read about it or seen pictures. And definitely the students that have seen the animation are better able to really understand and evaluate what that subject or topic is teaching.
in East Africa. Kenya aims to become one of the top 10 destinations in the world.
Every 2 weeks we're pushing new content. Every day one of the teachers is seeing something new that would enhance the learning opportunities.
You like both?
Yeah.
What do you like about the tablet?
It explains things more better.
Explain things better. Okay.
I guess when we thought about something like Vision 2030, And we realized that the people who are going to be running the economies in 2030, the people who are going to be leading and participating, they're sitting in classrooms right now. We're seeing that children are schooling, but they're not learning. The learning outcomes are not proving that children are understanding concepts. And we've tried to launch what's called a One Laptop Per Child program. So the government's keen to see other disruptive interventions in the space and learn from it.
I want us now to go to Elimu, Social Studies. Struggle for Independence, are you there?
They've actually made digital literacy mandatory for all teachers. So that's an important step that the government's saying, that, you know, in order to be a teacher, you've got to know how to deal with a digital device.
Some more questions.
A small school in the Kawangware district was the perfect testing ground. Nivi and the Elimu team chose this school to pilot the program.
So please enjoy the video, and then from that we are going to write also composition on Mau Mau.
So why did you choose that particular school as the home of your pilot project?
It was a school that was struggling, and the kids could really have benefited from education technology, and they were definitely underserved academically and financially.
And I suppose it helps that the headmaster is extremely passionate about education, and he seems to be passionate about technology as well.
Very good. Can we celebrate him?
Yeah, he's a great person to run a school like that and run an initiative where a disruptive intervention is what we're doing.
Who can remember the last topic we were speaking about? You jog your memories? Yes, agree?
We're studying about the Mau Mau movement.
Pardon?
The Mau Mau movement.
The Mau Mau movement. Very good. In the beginning, it was challenging when we started it because, like children or students, some of them even from their homes, they've never seen such kind of devices. Some do not even have phones. But with the time, they enjoy using the tablets. They enjoy using because of things like videos, photos. So it makes it attractive to the children. And I want you to get the video, Mau Mau video. You have got it? Thank you very much. Can you put it on? Video is easier to understand. You see, as you know, some children learn in different ways. Some like watching, and when they watch the exact thing, it becomes easier for them to understand.
Have you seen a difference if you're looking at the results the kids are getting before using the tablet and using Elimu to after?
First of all, their exam results shot through the roof, and we saw that they were doing so much better. But also their social, environmental consciousness, the way that they looked at the world and the people around them, we saw that changed.
The first subject which we saw a very big improvement was science. Initially when we started, our mean score was at 56 to 60, around that. Well, today we are beyond 70. At times we reach 80, which is very good. We are targeting 90, and this has really made the children feel like we can make it and we're going to make it.
Across Africa, the combination of science and technology could be the formula for accelerating development. Ndoni Kanyile is in Ghana to meet an innovator who believes that coding is set to become one of Africa's most important languages.
This is a place where we build robots.
Ben Naughty, otherwise known as the Bot Master, is a robot builder, entrepreneur, and teacher.
You know, robots is actually everything. It includes games, apps, everything.
He's the founder and CEO of the Metro Institute of Innovation and Technology in Ghana. Ben.
Hi, Donnie. How are you?
I'm very well. Can you show me where the students are?
Yeah, they're in the lab currently.
So generally the students come here during school holidays and over weekends.
Absolutely.
Right. It shows a lot of dedication on their part.
Yes, because usually during the weekday, you know, they're busy with their schoolwork. So weekends, holidays is the best time for them to come and learn some new skill.
These are your students?
Yeah, these are my students, some of them.
Morning, everyone. Ben leads an extracurricular coding course for children of all ages in order to spread his passion for robotics.
We want to build a new generation of people
The kids in this particular generation, I think we just don't have to underestimate them. I mean, they are so powerful, they are smarter than their parents, they're smarter than their teachers. I mean, that's the fact. They are born into technology. So this is Kester. He also loves robotics. He is just about 14 years and getting ready to go to high school. Currently, I think he's building a robot to solve a major problem, a robot to really guide the blind.
Explain what you're doing here. I can see that there's some kind of relationship between what you're doing on the screen and this.
Yeah, I'm programming the robot so that when it sees an obstacle, it stops and it makes a turn. When blind people are walking, they can't see, so they'll need people to guide them about.
And what kind of other robots would you like to build in future?
Robots that can help when there's a fire outbreak somewhere and people need to be saved. Robots can be sent into the fire because the robots do not get hurt or anything, so they can go and save the people in the fire and bring them out safely.
So you're really interested in helping people? It's a move away from the traditional style of educating with a teacher standing in front of the classroom and children sitting in a desk and receiving information. Why do you think this works so well with how children think?
When it comes to robotics, one thing, you know, if you're going to excel in that field is you've got to have that, you know, fantasy to imagine things that doesn't exist and try to, you know, make it happen. The gentleman, he loves games a lot.
I can see.
As you can see, he actually writes his own games. Yes.
What kind of games do you like?
Oh, I like anything that's, you know, educative, action adventure, and especially sci-fi.
Sci-fi?
Yeah. I like the way it can go things. It's actually actual science, but they make you go further, right?
When we're teaching the kids, we just don't want them to learn in empty vacuum. We want them to see real life. We want them to appreciate mathematics.
When you have a big problem, you have to break it down into smaller chunks, and you start little by little and you build it. So that's what we teach the kids.
Math really works, and once we take that approach, you know, I believe that kids will really have that inventive mindset.
And do you find that the programs, what they're learning here, the games that they're building, the programs that they're writing, do you find that inevitably has a knock-on effect to their schoolwork, that their marks improve?
Definitely, because, you know, when you're designing game, for example, you need to understand physics, the concept, principles of motion, dynamics, kinematics. We are trying to use robotics as a tool to inspire the study of science and math, to relate classroom theories, okay, using robots, so that if we are talking about a scientific principle, Newton's first law of motion, students would just not memorize the facts. We can actually use robots and we can demonstrate it for them to really see that, look, the law really works.
Most of the robots in Ben's lab are made from scrap. When he's not teaching, Ben and his team scour the Accra e-waste dumps for useful material. He believes that students should not be spending money on parts. Creating robots from e-waste is one of the skills he promotes.
This is actually an old cassette player that has been discarded, but you know, in it there are a lot of components that we can use. These are gear systems that we can use for our mechanical construction. And here are other components that we can use for some of our designs, maybe the head of the robots. You know, we can actually use something like this. Yeah.
What are you guys busy with?
Well, we're actually configuring one of our robots.
Oko.
Yes, this is Oko. Oko is actually a spy. It does surveillance for us. So sometimes we really want to see whether people are working or they are playing. So we just drive it around to do all the inspection for us. So the eye has a hidden camera, you know, so you might not really be aware that it's watching you, but it's watching it.
Hello. You see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Oko sees everything.
The camera is also intelligent enough to to actually see you, like recognize faces. So what happens is once it sees a face, it can actually, know you by your name.
Oko is fantastic. I love him.
Yeah. And as you can see, these are some of the projects made by our kids.
Really?
Yeah.
Ben pays regular visits to schools across the country to drum up interest in coding and robotics.
So you just told me from point D, how do I get to point B?
It turns the left wheel.
We have 2,500 students across the country. Once we expose them to the field, they always get a better idea of how to go about things. So irrespective of what you want to do, if your kid wants to be a politician and he gets engaged in robotics, he sees technology work this way, later on it will influence the kind of policy he makes. That we have to be able to equip this with enough intelligence, okay, so that it just doesn't move anyhow. Most of the time they learn and they forget. But with this, they want to achieve a result, and it's fulfilling, it's rewarding. They want the reward, they're happy. Okay, so she did it. Let's clap for her. I believe strongly that it's time we really redefine education, because in Ghana, I know that we have been running and depending on an old system, from the British education that they put in place for us. We really need a radical change. We should be able to identify people's interests, passion early, and then put them at the right place, give them the right stuff, and I think that they're going to excel. So this is the kind of future we want all of you to be part of. I believe that now in this century, like every kid must code. Every kid must code. Just as you learn basic math, algebra, you should know how to code. If people can now see problem, okay, and then attempt to solve that problem, I think we will go a long way as a nation.
It makes me think that, makes me feel like good things are ahead,
The world is moving, and the world is not waiting for anybody.
Ben is part of Ghana's ongoing commitment to include ICT in the school curricula. But computers and technology require power. In parts of Africa where electricity supply is limited, new ways are being found to harness the continent's most abundant resource, the sun.
Just a few kilometers outside of Johannesburg is Tembisa, a township where thousands of black South Africans were forcibly relocated during the years of apartheid. Under the all-white regime, school children were taught a specifically structured curriculum designed to prepare them only for menial work. Bringing equality to the South African education system is a work in progress. Many schools still have limited resources and little or no access to electricity. But things are looking up. Tembisa is a Zulu word which means promise. And here at Tamachama Primary School, children are part of an exciting new era, one which could connect them to a brighter future. This small container standing in the playground is a fully operational classroom and ICT hub. Designed by Ambit Technologies, it's called EDI, Education Delivered Intelligently. And it's entirely solar-powered. And you know the area quite well. You grew up here, didn't you?
I'm from here, actually. Yes, I grew up here, was schooled here.
Bongi Mtembu is a member of the Ambit team who has been working with the Department of Education to identify suitable test sites for the project. So you know the area and the needs and what kind of environment and challenges the students face quite intimately?
Definitely understanding the environment as well. You can't, be part of a development initiative without transforming and empowering a community.
So these are the solar panels up here?
Those are the solar panels.
Okay. It's taken years to get the project up and running, and this classroom is the first of its kind in South Africa. And a big part of the whole concept behind the classroom is the fact that it is solar powered. Right.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yes.
So come rain or shine. Obviously, in developing communities, you have electricity cutouts, so this school allows the school to be empowered, whether there's electricity or not. So the lessons still continue.
The classroom may be high-tech, but delivery and installation is simple and quick. It's fully operational as soon as the solar panels are installed.
Mobility is one of the most important things in developing communities, because you want to be able to say, I want to build a classroom in a week, so it can be transported.
Yes.
It can be built. This particular one in this school took about half an hour to assemble.
So this is interesting. So this would be an e-learning environment. I'm sure it's quite different from the classrooms that you went to school in Tembisa when you were growing up here. Yeah?
I remember back in the days, I used to have a big backpack.
Of course, and you've got tons of textbooks and exercise books
and stuff like that. Now each and every child has got an e-book. Now you have an e-learning, you have one book for all the lessons that you require, because it's plug and play. So the curriculum would be the same for each and every child. In another school, it would be the same, designed as an education system that is approved by the government. The equipment allows you to be able to engage with the curriculum that you have been given.
So the teacher can communicate directly with the students, and can they communicate and plug into each other for teamwork as well?
Right. They love working together.
This unit is not only designed to provide a learning space, but also to supply power for the rest of the school. It can be used like a generator in areas where there's little or no electricity supply. Today, Miss P will be taking the first formal lesson in the classroom, and I'm joining them.
Okay, John, the queue. Thank you. Can go inside, Tato. Just pick any tablet that you want. Okay, guys. This is Miss Ndoni. She's going to join us today for the class. And join Tato here so that we can proceed with the class. Before we begin with everything, I want you guys to play a game. Are you happy for that? Yes! It's just for fun. Okay, I'm going to choose the space race. There is the roadie, okay? Yes. There are questions on your screens, right? Yes. You answer those questions as fast as you can, because remember, it's a race. Okay, let's start. You left with 2 minutes. Do this until we find the winner. Going to show us on the screen. We already have the winner. Yay! Let's clap hands for them. Wow, that's nice picture. Okay, this is what I'm going to do, and you guys are going to watch it. We can make this picture big. Isn't it amazing?
It is.
It is.
I like this picture because it shows that there's a freedom in South Africa.
Oh, by the hand. That's a good point. It's a good point.
The Ambit project may be in its infancy, but already has the full support of the Department of Education. The EDI units will hopefully provide the energy needed to drive a new era of learning for South Africa's children. My playing doesn't quite sound as good as it should, but maybe I need to get one of these at home and practice a bit more. What do you think? Play some more?
Today, there's a mood of optimism amongst Africa's educators. The e-learning revolution is a reality here. The future of education is in the safe hands of tech-savvy innovators using science and technology to craft homegrown solutions across the continent.
Next time on Innovate Africa.
Your cow will be created within the next 24 hours.
Using the internet to become an online cattle owner in Ghana. I want to be too close to the one with the big horns.
The scientists working to improve crops' resistance to climate change, pests, and disease.
We're almost looking for a sort of super plant.
I love solving problems.
And a young Kenyan and his solution to protecting livestock from lion attack. Next time on Innovate Africa.